The OK Show on a Thursday. Thursday! What's up, Rodriguez Iceman? We are live now.
What up? What up? What up? You hear me?
Glasses.
We're good. We're good.
We're good.
Okay. So yeah, welcome to the show, guys. I don't know who's tuned in, but if you guys are out there, make your presence felt. Give us a holler. Let us know that you're out there, and we will give you a shout out. Oh yeah, Jasper Ski is on board right away. Um, yeah, I think I mentioned it, or I don't know if I mentioned it on air, but we're hoping that we'll get a female guest to join us over the weekend. I'm gonna try to confirm it with her, but she's based in the UK, so she's 7 hours behind. So we have to come up with something that will stir up the opinion of women, and have a banger of a show with a lady who is not very ladylike, in the traditional sense. All right. So shout out to Jasper Ski. And today we're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about, Ice?
Um, what constitutes a good problem? What is a good problem?
A good
That's what we're gonna
problem to
talk about
have.
tonight.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, so it can be a problem. If you're faced with so many positive choices, on I sort of created a mini list for myself, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, anyways. So it's
Oh,
basically
just get my
just
glasses. All right, go on.
sure, man. It's basically like choices. If you're faced with choices, then and all the choices are positive, like it's not really a bad thing, but it's still a problem. Hold on, because I'd like to apologize in advance. I don't know if you can tell, but my nose is very, very red. My allergic rhinitis is acting up, so blame it on that. And I'm gonna try to change my lighting mood so that my nose is not too shiny-ish. Okay, hold on. How does this work? Is that better? All right. Okay, so yeah, that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna talk about a good problem to have. I'll give you an example. All right, I'll give you an example. Lamborghini or Ferrari? All right, that's definitely a good problem to have. I mean, for someone like myself, that's not even a problem. I take either one. Lamborghini or Ferrari. Yeah, Range Rover or what's another? I won't say Lexus, Range Rover or Porsche, right? The Porsche Cayenne. That's or a Land Rover or Range Rover. That's a tough one. I'd probably go with a Range Rover. That's always been my dream. So I'm just talking about like vehicles here, cars here, right? Santa Cruz or Specialized, for the bikers out there. I don't know. Jasper, yeah, there you go. There, perfect. So that's exactly it. That's what we want to hear. All right, a good problems to have. So Jasper Ski is a bike dude, among other things, and for those who are bike enthusiasts, I know the Fox Fork, those are pretty pricey. Um, I forgot the name of the one I have on mine, but it's like what is it, like DVL or something like that. But anyways, um, Fox Kashima Fork or Fox, but not Kashima. Okay, so I would assume that is a good problem to have. Yeah, I'm gonna ask Ice, obviously, because he's gonna know about sneakers. Rock Shocks, a rock. Okay, I had Rock Shocks in my old bike. Joe bought that bike, by the way. I had an old mountain bike, which was just given to me by a cousin, and Joe wanted it, and I wasn't using it very much, so I sold it to him for a very friendly price, and it had Rock Shocks in it. The one I have is like, well, it's not mine. Pardon my nose. Not mine anymore. It's my son's, because he's big enough to ride it, and he's more enthusiastic about riding the bike. So it's now officially my son's. He has the shock is I don't know if it's DVL or so. I forgot the name, but anyways, yeah. So I don't know. Is that the main thing? I mean, if you guys go go mountain biking and you buy a bike, is that what you guys go for? Do you guys go for okay, do you guys is it the number one thing? You go for the fork or the shocks or whatever it is that you want to call it? Okay, so we're still in the show. Ice, we're just waiting for Ice to join in. And I think he pressed something. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden it disappeared. But either way, yeah, so we're gonna talk about a good problem to have. So for the bikers out there, Fox Fukushima, another good problem to have, but I'm a gamer, so this is something that a lot of gamers out there, if you were given the opportunity to pick the system, you probably had this problem. I know a lot of the kids in the States, when they pre-ordered, a lot of them were Team Xbox or Team PlayStation. So certainly a good problem to have, PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series S. And I have friends, Jaspersky, we have a common friend, and he went the Xbox Series S route, but I'm assuming he probably also has the. Oh yeah, I think he has also the PS5 now, because I think I added him and we're friends on the PlayStation Network. Talking about PR, right? Jasper, you know PR, right? I don't know if you guys are batchmates or what, but yeah, I think he's PR is. I think he's my compadre because we're ninos of the same kid, and I met up with him in the States when I went on vacation a couple of years ago. But PR, I remember when the systems were released for pre-order, he went with Xbox. He's always been an Xbox guy, which is kind of understandable because Xbox is closer to the PC platform. Panerai or Rolex sub, both, man. What are you talking about? You gotta have both, all right? You gotta have both, dude. But if I were to choose, you know, my heart, my heart, of course, will go to Panerai. I've always been a Panerai guy. That's always been my dream watch. I named my kid after Panerai. Remember? I have a kid named Rai, and that's partly where he got his name from. So Raj's younger brother, our bunso, his name is Diego Rai, and the Rai actually is from Panerai partly, but it's also from it also stands for Rod and Irish, so RAI. So that has double meaning, and so I am me. I'm a Panaristi. I'm a Panerai hardcore guy. I've always been in love with the brand ever since, even if before it became popular, and I'm still loyal to it. It's the watch that I wear every day. But in terms of like as an investment or as an heirloom, you got to go with Rolex because everybody knows Rolex. And but if it's something that you just want to, it's like it's like like having two cars. The other car maybe is a Mercedes, and maybe the other car is like a I don't know a Porsche or not even a Porsche. Maybe it's just a Lexus or something. And for some reason you have more fun driving the other. Or let's okay, I'm not gonna compare Lexus and maybe the other one's a Mercedes, maybe the other one's like a Jeep Wrangler, or maybe the other one is just you know uh it could be a Jeep Wrangler, it could be some off-road vehicle, and for some reason you just enjoy driving the off-road car, the truck more than you do the Mercedes Benz because you're too careful with the Mercedes. And but value wise, the Mercedes is more valuable. The Mercedes probably has the better resale value, but you enjoy driving the other one more because you can be reckless with it and you don't have to be careful with it. So I think that's kind of like it. Like the Rolex would be the weekend car, but the Panerai would be the daily car. And most of the time, what the heck is that? Oh, most of the time you probably enjoy the daily car more. All right. So, anyways, yeah. So, good problems to have. What about celebrities? Like, if you're given a, I don't want to even go to celebrities, but let's talk about. Okay, let's try to think of a dude who had to choose between two beautiful ladies. Like, you know, he had the luxury of choosing between two beautiful ladies, and they probably fought or something. I don't know. I just know there was a time when and I don't know why I paid attention to this news bit, but I don't know if it was in Showbiz Lingo or if it was in The Buzz, that other showbiz show. I just remember there was an issue with God, Janu Gibbs, of all people, right? Janu Gibbs. Never underestimate the guy. All right, he's short, not necessarily the best looking dude on the planet, but he's talented, he's funny, and dude, he's a ladies' man. And he's married, and I think he's still married to Bing Loisaga, who she's pretty hot. I mean, especially back in the day, if you know who Bing Loisaga is, she is a pretty woman. She's a pretty yummy actress, and I think he got caught in an affair with uh God, Jackie Forster. Jackie Forster, the ex of oh my God, what is wrong with me? The basketball player. God, who's that? Who's that basketball player guy? Oh my God, the tall dude, funny guy. How can I forget Benji Paras? Benji Paras. Yeah, the ex of Benji Paras. Um, yeah, so he supposedly had an affair with her, and then I think like Big Saga caught them during the affair and whatever. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure like how that ended up, but I'm pretty sure after Jano obviously stuck with the wife because I think they're still together. I don't think they're annulled or anything. But for sure for Jano, that was a problem. Anything involving two women at the same time is a problem. But the fact that it's between him, his wife being Saga, who's very beautiful, and Jackie Forster, who's freaking hot. I mean, I still have the FHM issue. I'm trying to find out where I put those, but I know I have the FHM issue. I mean, right? It's just like that's a good problem to have, right? Jackie Forster and Bing Saga, both kind of, you know, healthy women. I mean, healthy in the right places. So that's definitely a good problem to have. Okay, well, another good problem to have. I wonder what happened to Ice. Ice, you out there? All right, I better check my Facebook because the guy might have internet issues or something happened to his mic, to his camera. But Jasper, am I on air? Because I want to know. Am I still? Is this show still running? Because usually Ice is the one with the control of this particular streaming site, and if he gets cut off, I'm assuming I would get cut off too. So I want to know if this is still running. The clock says it's still running. Do I have to get out of here and go back again? Yes, you are. Okay, are you okay? I'm gonna check if Ice is messaging me. Um, Nawala kong net by. Wait lang, restart. Okay, all right, got it. So, Ice, let me know. Okay, I don't know if you're seeing this, but if you restart, let me know. If you restart, um, let me know if you can. What's it called? If you need to have a new kind of what's it called site like link if we need a new link, all right. So anyways, okay, all right, wow, okay, now my wifey just shared something and I'm not sure if the legitimacy of this, but we are the male version of Marites, so we are the Mariotes. So I might bring this up with Ice and then we'll talk about this for a little bit. And we will see. Okay, because I don't, Chismis is always right around the corner, and people were celebrity people. They're always prone to being the topic of conversation. So I don't think we're treading on anyone. This is not an article I wrote. This is just an article that was shared, and I don't know if people have read this, but you know what? I don't know what's with the internet, but I'm assuming my streaming's still good, but like Facebook and its certain sites take freaking forever to open. Okay, here it is. So my wife we just shared an article about the breakup of what's her name, Carla Beliana, and oh my god, I hope this guy's not my relative. He's too good looking to be my relative, but the guy's name is Tom Rodriguez, the actor. So we're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna share what's in that thing in a bit. That's something my wifey shared. All right, I'm just waiting for Ice to be back on board. So as soon as he's back, we'll do this. He said yes to restart. So we're talking about good problems to have. All right, for the people out there, we want to know. We want you to share. We already had the icebreaker from Jasper. He said a good problem to have: Fox Kashima fork or Fox but not Kashima. Talking about bicycle parts, right? Panerai watch or Rolex sub. That's a very very good problem to have. Either way, I know people. I don't know if they're going through this right now, but I once went through a stage where I was starting out in the watch game, and I had the opportunity to upgrade my watch, and my watch then was a Tag Heuer Formula One, and I could upgrade that. Right, I had the chrono. So I first had the regular Tag Heuer Formula One, and then I upgraded that to the chrono. These were all sponsored by my dad. My dad, gave me money for these watches. I was never able to obviously buy them, for myself with my own money. It's like my dad would sponsor that for me. So I ended up with the Tag Heuer chrono, and then I had the opportunity to upgrade. Now, I was considering, I think, four brands at the time, three or four brands. I remember I was considering Hamilton, which people might say is not really an upgrade because Hamilton watches are quite affordable. So in fact, they're probably more affordable than Tag Heuer, but it was like an automatic movement, and it was just for me, it was just a different brand, but at the same time, it had cred in the watch community. So it was either a Hamilton Khaki Air Race or an Oris Aquis, and I the reason why I would consider the Oris to be an upgrade to a Tag, because the entry level of the Oris watch brand is, I think, pricier than the entry level of a Tag Heuer watch brand. Tag Heuer is like, taking a dip through the years. It used to be the number one watch for yuppies, those who didn't go the Rolex route because they couldn't afford it yet. We all settled for Tag, and now you have choices. There's Oris, there's Tissot, there are a bunch of other brands out there that you can pick from. So I had that choice, and I think that was a good problem to have. I had the choice to either upgrade my Tag Heuer and go for one of their steel watches. I think it was a Aqua Racer. I had I was thinking either the Aqua Racer or the Oris Aquis, and I went with the Aquis because I think it was slightly cheaper, and it was, a different brand altogether. And I just like, I like the red rotor, because with the Oris Aquis you could see the back of the watch and you could see the movement. And I'm not sure. I don't think that was the case. Yeah, that was not the case with the Aqua Racer. Though Aqua Racer came in two variants. There was an Aqua Racer with battery, which was the quartz, and there's an Aqua Racer which is the automatic. And the automatic was, I think, slightly more expensive than the Aquis. So the Aquis was like the better value watch. So I went with the Oris. So I actually went from a Tag Heuer, then I went to an Oris. And yeah, so Jasper said, me too. My dad asked me if I wanted a Tag Heuer F1 Chrono or the Tag Heuer F1 Chrono Kimi Raikkonen. I chose the normal chrono. You chose the normal chrono? Yeah, I think the Kimi Raikkonen was like steel, right? The normal chrono was the one that kind of had like a PVD. The bezel was like PVD. It was like black and it was PVD. And I think the Kimi Raikkonen was the one that was like stainless steel. But they all had that sporty F1, obviously F1 look. And I think the Kimi was probably slightly more expensive, if I'm not mistaken. But the normal chrono was the sort of like the more iconic one. It had that look. Like, if you see it from afar, it's an F1 chrono. It's a Tag Heuer F1 chrono. But I did go through that stage, and I definitely think that was a very good problem to have. Okay, hold on. I'm still waiting for Ice. He said he just like restarted, and yeah. So as soon as you're ready, Ice. All right, we'll talk about the Mario Test Chismis. So he's back. Okay, the black and red is the Kimi watch. I didn't like it since I really know he is not a consistent driver. Laos na siya. Okay, got it. Okay, so you didn't want to be associated with the guy who was endorsing the particular watch. That is why you chose the normal chrono instead. Okay, all right, that's understandable. I mean, yeah, I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of somebody, I'm definitely not going to be wearing something that they endorse. All right. So Ice, you're back. We're gonna like deviate a little bit, but this is kind of connected to our topic, anyways. Like a good problem to have. Are you familiar with Carla Abellana?
I think I heard a name. I don't remember the face.
Yeah, she's the daughter of Ray PJ Abellana. Obviously, you know the dad, right? From
Right.
Annalisa, I
Of
think,
course.
right? Yeah. So Ray PJ Abellana, and she's the daughter. She's very pretty. In fact, I remember her being Raj's first crush. She did a shampoo commercial, and Raj was so smitten. Raj was probably Diego's age at the time, Rai's age, so he was like 2 years old. And every time he would see the commercial, he would smile and he would like be giddy. And we go to the grocery, he would see her poster there for the shampoo brand, and he would get
Right.
giddy. Well, she got married. I think it was during the pandemic, maybe a year ago. I'm not
Right.
sure, but she got married to this actor guy, Tom Rodriguez, which I'm not very familiar
Right.
with,
Are
and
they
you're not
having
very familiar
problems?
with.
Long story
They
short, are they
did.
having problems?
They did. I think we had to talk about that. I think that was mentioned. They did. Now, apparently, she opened up, and because I think she deleted the guy's pictures from her account, and then now it's like she put it back again. And we were talking about like didn't have like a side chick or something. Apparently, according to what she went through with the guy, I'll read this. Binigay na ko po buong buhay ko sa kanya. 7 na taon po akong bawal magalit, magtampo, masaktan, mabigo, malungkot, madismaya dahil hindi po pwede. Makakatikim po ako kahit subukan ko pong ipaliwanag sa kanya na nasasaktan niya ako at hindi po tama ang mga ginagawa niya. Ulit-ulit ko pong pinapaalala sa kanya na hindi po ako kalaban at mabuti po ang kalooban at intensyon ko. 7 na taon pong naipon sa loob ko lahat yun. So apparently, I guess, if you can read between the lines, I don't know if, she didn't say it directly though. Apparently she's like a battered girlfriend slash wife. I mean, that's what I'm taking from that post. But I don't know. How did you take that? Because she's not allowed to have an opinion. Otherwise, makakatikim siya. Because I mean, for us, that has two different meanings. The makakatikim, right? It could be a good tikim. It could be a bad tikim. That did not sound like it's a good tikim. Like when your mom
I
says,
don't know, man. I
makatilaw
mean,
ka, right? It's not a good
see,
tilaw,
here's
man.
the thing. I'm sort of like, okay, if my, how should I put it? Because it's kind of like tricky and it's very sensitive.
Yeah.
You know what? First and foremost, nobody has the right to be an asshole. All right, like you can't be an asshole. If you're an asshole, you're just a terrible person, and you deserve to be shot. Period. Right? You deserve to die. You deserve to be thrown in the middle of the ocean with the sharks. Right? That's
Uh-huh.
what you deserve. If I'm acting that way, I deserve that. I would say that. Okay. So here's the thing. Um, we know that there are assholes who exist, right?
Yes.
But we don't have to be with them. We don't have to stay with them. That's just the whole point there. That's just
Yeah.
my view on things. That's my opinion. You don't have to be with that person, right?
I agree.
First sign of red flag, you can exit, right?
Yes.
Cut the bull crap. Cut the I love him. Come on. Well, I mean, you would know that there's something off, right? I mean, from the
Yes.
very first red flag that you see, and you have that
Or
kutub,
feel.
right? We all
Or
have
feel.
that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the feeling, the kutub, or whatever. You would notice it and you would say, like, oh, this is not right. There's something wrong with this guy. Or there's something wrong with this chick. So, I mean, what? 7 years? It took you 7 years to realize that? Come on.
They got married. She
I mean,
married the guy.
you can
Despite.
you can call
Despite
you
of.
can call me a victim blamer, but what I'm saying is, what, you waited 7 years? I wouldn't wait 7 years. Well, fuck you. I'm just gonna walk out, right?
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, the guy's an asshole, then he's an asshole, right? So
Was she an?
I mean,
So would you call her an enabler? If you
she
tolerated
probably
somebody's
was.
behavior, wrong behavior, all right, bad behavior, if you tolerated that, whether it's a child, whether
No,
it's
it's
a
not
pet,
even about
whether
that. It's okay. If
are
you
you
are
an
being
enabler?
disadvantaged, and if you're being taken advantage of, if you're being hurt, then that's not a good situation, right? I mean, here's the thing. If you're in a situation like that, like for example, I know some women who are in situations like, okay, they know that their husbands are cheating, right? They know
Yeah.
that their husbands are out there banging other chicks and whatever, but then they have
Yeah.
one end goal, right? Let's say, for example, that they're married to somebody who's like really rich, who owns
Yeah.
big companies and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And she knows for a fact that this guy you know, can't help the fact that, he wants to bang chicks all the time. Like he can't keep his pants on. That he would go around fucking everybody else. And she knows for a fact. But then she's like, fuck it. I don't care. As long as I have your money, as long as I enjoy the money that like that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have kids, as long as my kids can go to the schools that they want, as long as they have the comfort, and as long as I have the comfort, I don't give a shit. You can do whatever you want, but you cannot cut me out in terms of like the financial benefits. See, that's the
Yeah.
thing. That's like being like, okay, I don't know. I'm taking it back. You know what I'm saying? Like in some ways, I'm trying to take back some of the pride that I lost through other means, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're just in the relationship and you're suffering and you don't get any benefit from it, and all you do is just like cry and whine and like blame yourself, that's just terrible, right? So
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like the guy can be an asshole and you can be an asshole too. Like, all right, if you're gonna act like an asshole, I'm gonna act like an asshole. It's fine. Patas lang tayo, and that's fine, right? All right, you go bang other chicks. Okay, I'll bang other guys. That's fine. And if that works out for you guys, that's fine. But if you are on a disadvantage, right? If somebody has power over you, then I don't think I don't think that's
And you
right.
allowed it. And you allowed it. I mean, because I
You
mean, it's
allowed
not,
it, right?
it wasn't like, I mean, she's a beautiful independent woman. She
Right.
has a
She's
career of
free
her
to go.
own.
She's
She's
free to
free to
go.
go.
That's
She's free to
that's
go. Now, okay, here's the thing. Obviously, I think most people will probably say, okay, something's wrong with the guy. Obviously, if you get violent with anybody,
definitely
especially with
something's wrong with the
women,
guy.
something's wrong with the guy. But I would also think maybe something's kind of wrong with her too. Not wrong with her, like like she's a victim here. Obviously you don't want to put any more weight on her shoulders. But what I'm saying is maybe there's something about that situation that made her stick to it. Like I don't know, because some people there are terms like masochist and sadist, right? Sadistic people are people who like to hurt other people, and masochists are people who like being hurt. Or like even the terms like martyr and all that stuff. And I know women who have options, and there could be like a guy there who has all the, like, he's just like, maybe he's offering all the right things, but she will choose to be with a guy who was offering all the wrong things. Now, it's not really a woman issue, because there are guys who are like that too. There are guys who keep going back to women, who keep cheating on them or keep flirting with other men, and it's a two-way street. But just the way I see it is, yeah, if it lasted that long, she was quiet about it the whole time. She just brought it up right now. I mean, she even made the decision of marrying the guy, and you married the guy. And if this has been going on 7 years, I don't think they've been married 7 years. So you had plenty of time to decide. It's like, I think, we brought this up before. I think it's one of those things where certain women just have this mindset where pag binigay na nila lahat sa isang lalaki, it's like, I'll take him for whatever he is, because I want him to be the last guy in my life, the first and last guy in
No,
my life. And
that
and
doesn't have to be. I'm telling you, that
it
doesn't have
doesn't
to be,
have to be. That's what we're trying to tell
right?
women, or
And you're
people in
not
general.
you're not less of a woman if you do that.
You're
You're not
not.
less of a woman. You're not less of a mother.
You
You're
are
not
not.
less of
You are
whatever
not.
for walking out in a relationship. Everybody
You're
has the
not.
right to walk out of a
Regardless of
relationship.
what happened, regardless of how much you two have
Exactly.
gone through, regardless of how
It's your
much he's
decision.
taken
It's
from
your
you,
life. It's your
you can
decision.
you can
You
build
don't have to
yourself
listen
back
to other
up.
people. You don't
That's
have to
true.
listen to
That's
your
true.
grandparents.
By the way,
You don't have to listen to your parents. You don't have to listen to your friends.
you don't
Listen to
society.
yourself.
You don't have to say. By the way,
Right.
I
Right.
remember during our last conversation, our last show, I mentioned about, like, the friendship dynamics between a man and men and women, and I remember mentioning that like, if I catch my friend's wife or girlfriend, like, cheating on him, like, I wouldn't tell my friend. But you know what? I have to retract on that a little bit, because I kind of just remember that I remember you helping me out in a situation that you weren't really like telling me that, like, an ex-girlfriend at the time was my girlfriend, that she was like cheating. But I just remember you kind of giving me like a heads up on a situation, because I remember I was out of the country at the time. Was I right? I
Right.
mean, do I recall this right? And
You're
I
out of the
remember
country,
it
but
was
here's the
you.
thing. Here's the
It
thing.
was you. And
I
I
know I
remember,
told you, but
oh
here's the
shit,
thing.
yeah.
I
'cause
didn't know you were still
I
together. I thought you
Exact,
were like
and you didn't
broken up or
say it that
something.
way. You didn't say it like maliciously. You were just like,
Yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
just
I
like,
just said
you
like
know,
I
like
saw
by
her
the
there with
actor
someone.
nag-aligid-aligid. You were actually saying it's the guy who
Yeah,
was making aligid.
yeah, because
You
okay,
didn't say
to be
anything.
fair to her, they
Nag,
weren't like acting like they were together, but you can tell that the
you could
guy
sense it.
was
You could sense
acting,
it.
yeah, that the
And you know
guy
what?
has plans.
That's
Right.
all I needed. That's all I needed because I called up her friend, who is also your friend. You also know this girl. I called her up immediately, and sounded guilty as crap, man. She was like, she couldn't give me a straight answer. She couldn't explain anything to me, and I'm like, there you go. That's it. So you didn't
Yeah,
even like.
because that
So,
friend was the one who got married,
yes,
right?
yes. So
Right.
yeah, she did. She did. So no, actually,
Yeah.
it
And
was
she
her
just
sister
got
who I
married
called.
again a few months
It was
ago.
it was her sister who I called first. It was her sister. It wasn't her. It was her sister,
All
younger
right, okay.
sister. It was her
Right.
younger
Younger
sister.
sister.
It was her younger sister who I called up because I don't know why I couldn't get in touch with her. I don't think she was in town. I don't think she was living in Davao at the time. But anyway, and I remember that. And like we weren't even like super tight then, right? We weren't, right?
We weren't,
Like
right.
because I just got back
It was
from
like
Thailand.
it was like a passing conversation. I was
But
like, "Oh, I was there. I was hosting whatever," and
because
like
you
I think
yeah
I saw
yeah
her
because
with
you
somebody, and it
knew
was like
yeah
I
yes it
thought
was her
you
friend
were,
it was the
you were not
wedding of her
together.
friend. It was the wedding of her friend.
Right,
That was the event, right? Okay.
right, yeah.
So
My friend as well, like a wedding of
yes.
like our common friend.
So I'm like, dude, I super appreciated that. And I'm like, now I'm thinking, shoot, I have to retract on that statement. But what I was saying though is like that's kind of deep already. Like, you know, if you see somebody checking in a motel, that's different, man. That's not something you just blurt out to a friend and
Right.
it could ruin
Plus, we
his
weren't
life.
married yet.
He might
There
yeah,
was
it
like,
wasn't.
it was
It was
first like an
nothing.
innocent question, like, "Are you still together?" That type of like, I think I saw her like at this particular wedding,
And I like
and
the
where
way
were
you said
you? I
it.
think I was like, "Where were you?" Like, were you
Well,
in? Like, and you were like, "Oh, I was in Thailand." I'm like,
yes.
all right, okay, that figures.
That was
So
one time
there was this
your
other guy.
pagiging marites paid off because that you know
But
what
here's the
that
thing too. I didn't
if
put
you
something
didn't
into
do
it,
that
but
I wouldn't have dodged a
I
bullet,
know
dude. If you didn't do that, I might have gotten myself in some deep shit, and I would be where I
it
am now.
okay. It could have been because I saw when I first saw them, I didn't think anything of it because I know that guy used to be married, right? We went
Yeah,
to
I
the
think you
same
knew the wife or
church
something, right? Yeah,
like
or something like that.
back then. Like, no,
Yeah.
I didn't really know the wife, but I've seen them when they were still together, and I didn't put anything into it because I'm like, all right, I know that the guy's married, right? And I think they have kids. But then I think a few months after that, or a few weeks after that, I think I saw the wife with somebody else. So that kind of
Hmm.
like,
Okay.
that gave me a pause and holy shit, like I think I saw the husband with with that girl, and now I see the wife with someone else. So it's something's up. So I was like, all right, it could be that, yeah, it's confirmed that maybe he has plans or he's actually courting the girl.
Yeah.
And when we had that conversation, it was in passing, and it was just
Yeah, it
like
was.
an
It
innocent
wasn't like
question,
you. I remember you were saying
and
you were just like
it
the
snowballed into
way.
something else.
Yeah. You
It
were just like
became a
the way.
big problem.
I remember you mentioning it like the actor was like, and you really sounded like a concerned friend, like, and that's why I appreciated it because you weren't like exaggerating anything. You were because you were there, and like I was so thankful. I remember like when you told me that I was like so freaking thankful that there was somebody on my side, and the reason why I was hurt when I found out about that because I would at least expect one of her friends who ended up becoming my
Like,
friends
say something
to at
about it,
least give
right?
me
Yeah.
a heads up. I mean, you know the term pendejo. Huwag niyo naman ako going pendejo. Like at least let me know what's up. You know what I'm saying? And and
Pendejo.
and that just goes to show you. Now I'm retracting my state. No, I'm kind of retracting because I remember you were saying it's like bros before hoes. And I was saying it's like hoes before bros, right? And now I'm saying yeah,
Right.
that's different though. Like that loyalty that you that gesture that you did back then, and we weren't even tight. And you had my back. And like I said, if because I was totally clueless, dude. They could have gone on for so much longer. We didn't have to, and I wouldn't have been met my wife to be, and which I also met through you. So it was like, oh man, this is really weird. It's weird that we're getting connected in this way where we totally have nothing in common, pretty much when you think about it. But it's like when you brought that up, that I trusted you. Like I knew you weren't making anything up. I knew because I don't normally call her friends. Like I don't normally nor call people and confront them with shit. Like that's not my style. I'm like, "Man, I'm not. That's nothing, you know." But when you said it, and just the way you said it, it was like the way a guy would say it to another guy. I'm like, okay, hold up. How come I never heard about this? How come I didn't know about this from their side? How come nothing was mentioned that because everybody there, I think, was a representative for her. They were all on her side. But you were there and you were
Right.
just the neutral guy. You weren't even, because you're friends with them too, right? That's why you were
Right. Yeah.
there. You weren't like a bad guy. You weren't
Right.
like spying for me. Like I said, we weren't even
No,
tight.
I was there to host it with somebody else. I was there with Al
Yes.
Ryan. We both hosted the freaking wedding, and yeah, I saw familiar faces there, including hers
So
and
that's
that guy
why,
too.
yeah.
That guy's face was familiar as
That's
well.
why I trusted it so much, because you had no agenda. Like you had no reason to say anything negative or anything, because like I said, you were there because you were also friends with them. So why would you, like, and I'm so glad, because you were probably closer to them than you were to me at the time. But the fact that you saw like, it wasn't like crime taking place, but you could kind of sense that hey, hold on, like, may nadedehado dito, right? And it was me, because that's why I was so kind of affected when they treated my wifey as the bad guy when she came into the picture, when she came in much later, like, so if I do it, it's wrong, and if someone else does it, it's right. I mean, if you didn't tell me that, if I go backtrack and you didn't tell me that, because we were talking about how Jasper, did the spy thing. Like, if you didn't tell me that,
Right.
like, you weren't even spying, it just like was in your face. And I think obviously she knew that you were my coworker, that we were, but she didn't even like
No, probably at
bring that.
that time,
Why
no.
did she not bring
We
it
were
up with
not
me?
coworkers at that time.
Oh,
We were not
really?
coworkers at that time. I
Oh, yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know
that's
you at that time.
2003. That was 2003.
I
2003,
didn't know you.
because
I haven't met
I
you at
was in
that time.
Thailand. That was 2003. I was
Right.
in Thailand. I
And
wasn't with
I
Matt with
wasn't
Killaby
even
yet. I wasn't
aware.
with
I wasn't
Killaby
even
yet. I wasn't with
aware
Killaby
that
yet.
you were together. All I know that
Okay, all
she
right.
was an ex-girlfriend of the other guy, like the one from Holy Child, right?
Your
Because I
friend's
know
brother.
of her
Your
and I
friend's
know her
brother, right?
sister. Yeah, my friend's brother.
Your friend's
So I
brother,
know
yeah.
about that. And I know the situation of the guy, right? I haven't seen you
I
together
can't
in the
believe we're
past.
talking about this on
Like,
the show. I mean, by
right?
the
Yeah,
way,
I
people,
mean,
you don't know who we're talking about, so it could be anyone
like, all
else.
right. So it's well, people, you have to give it to it. You have to give it to us, all right? Because this is history we're talking about.
Yeah, it's
So
nothing. It's
I
fast.
haven't met you and I haven't seen her with you. So basically, I have no idea who you are. I know your name, I know of you, but
And
I
then we
don't even
started
know what you
working
look like.
together.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, I
Because I
didn't even.
even thought
Yeah,
that before it was Boo Boy. Rod Rodriguez was like, Boo.
that's Mike Master
It's like
Boo.
Mike Master Boo. And then when you came in, I was like, all right, this is Rod Rodriguez. Mike, what the? All right, okay, all right, okay. So this is the guy, all right. But I didn't know, I didn't know you, and I didn't assume anything that I probably because you introduced me to her and it was like, all right, so you were together and you were talking about like, oh, we've been together for quite some time, and it was like, hang on, wait a minute, like I think I saw her at some point with somebody and you were not here, so I think that was like the conversation was like, yeah, I think I saw her sometime in whatever, it was a wedding, and there was
Yeah, yeah,
nothing
yeah,
about it, but there was this guy, and
yeah.
that was it. I think it snowballed into something.
That's all you said. That's
But
all
yeah,
you
to be
said. You
honest,
didn't. You didn't.
yeah,
You didn't say anything. You weren't like stirring up my emotions or anything. No, it
no,
wasn't. It
no,
was
no.
just like,
She was
but I,
probably she was
but I
probably like
trusted
doing
you.
this the whole time when we
Yes,
first met. Now that I
yes,
think about it, right? She was probably
yes.
like,
Because
I
she
really
never
hope he
brought
didn't
it
say
up.
shit.
She never brought
Right?
it up, and you were there to, like, she probably never thought we would be like tight, or like, you know what I'm saying, like, but like I'm saying, like I said, she didn't have to say anything anyways. That's all I'm saying. It's like she didn't have to say anything, but at least give me a heads up, like, because I mean, all I knew back then was that her parents just didn't approve of me anymore. And that for me, it's like, what the heck, man? There has to be a reason. Like, okay, okay, I'll get out of her life, but just give me a reason. Like, what did I not? Did I disappoint you? Was my bank account not big enough? Was my employment not paying me enough? What's going on? Am I not good looking enough for your daughter? What's going on? I just wanted to know. I'm not a clingy guy. You know, and if anything, I feel actually I don't like let other people go through the misery that I go through. I go through it. But when you said it, knowing that you had no agenda, knowing that you're the type of guy who, like, though your only flaw is that you're honest. That's it.
That was a good
You
problem to
crucify the.
have. Right?
It
That
was
was
a
a good
good
problem to
problem to
have.
have. That's a good problem. You're too honest.
Because in the end, you got out of
You
like
worked itself
a
out. Yes.
potentially life ruining
Bullet. I dodged
relationship,
a bullet.
right? Yes, you
Yes.
did
For
dodge a
both of
bullet.
us. I would have ruined her life too. I'm not being unfair here. I mean, I would probably not have met her expectations as whatever. I mean, I'm surely not as financially, blessed as whoever she ended up with, if that's
But
her
dude, I
priority. And I
mean,
think
yeah, you can say that. You can say like, oh, it will both ruin our lives, both our lives. But I would say your life would be ru- like
so
more in
so for
terms
for
of. I mean, you
for
know how to
Iceman's
have fun.
friends, listen to the guy, all right?
No,
He
no,
saved
because okay, here's the thing.
my
To be,
future.
I'm trying to be objective here. You're a guy who knows how to have fun. You're a guy who knows what fun is, and you're a guy who's like you go to places. And if you look at her life, I don't know. No offense, but I think she lived a boring life. And you know what I'm saying? Like she don't go out, she doesn't have fun, she doesn't. I mean, her definition of fun is different, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
people can
yes.
argue that oh maybe her fun is not your kind of fun. Like yeah, I know, but the thing is, still, I mean, boring is boring. You really can't change that. And
Agree.
if you got together, you would be on the losing. You would be on the
Yeah.
losing end,
Because
right?
I would have to go
So
down to her level.
exactly.
Because she
It would
would
have to
not
be
go up to
boring as
mine.
well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Exactly.
boring
So
now. I
I
mean,
think
my wife's probably saying, well, I'm boring
yeah,
now,
but I mean
but
that
still,
boring is like a phase. Like we all go through that
Yes,
phase.
yes.
Like I was talking to Wendy and Phil, and they said the same thing. Like, oh, we don't party that much anymore. I mean, and I was like, yeah, I know, but that's the thing. Like, it's a phase that we go through, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about from 1 to like 40, and you never had that fun, I mean, come on, man. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
you're
like,
right. You're right.
I mean, yeah, if by 35, if you have kids and whatever, yeah, and eventually, if your kids grow up and you can leave them alone, you can start having fun again. But with that person, it would never because there's nothing to go back to. They've been boring all their lives. Even when their kids grow up, they'd still be boring, and their kids would be boring, and they will die with a boring life. And I don't think you want
Agree.
that. We only live once,
I agree. I
right?
agree. We
If you
only
live
live
it
once.
right, once is enough.
I agree. And you know what? That's the thing.
YOLO! YOLO!
That's why, dude. That's why when I remembered it, because I was actually hold on. The wifey messaged me. Oh, she's giving me all these details about the Carla Abellana situation. So yeah. So anyways, that's why when I was, I don't know why that entered my thought, but it's just like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. Like, and you never even brought it up during the show. Like, you didn't even say like, dude, remember that one time I did something for you? Like, that was a favor, because I was like, oh yes, like shit, yeah, because that was the only situation that anyone's ever told me anything. Because I always thought that I was always on point with everything, but that particular time I was out of the country, and you know what? Like I said, I was totally clueless. And when you brought that up, and I called up her friend, and she was like, oh, she could say anything about it. So, dude, if you're not guilty about anything, you'd outright say, oh, friend ko lang yun. No, that guy was just, ano, like, right? Like, why would you have, why could you not, like, explain it? Like,
I
all I
know.
asked was, like, who's this
Why do you
guy?
have to
Who's this
stammer?
guy
Like,
I heard?
I
Something's up. Yes, exactly. I was like, who's this guy who I heard? I didn't even say it was you. I just said they probably figured out it was you. They probably figured out si ano yun. Si ano sa kwento no. Because there was no one else there that would have represented me, right, or had my interest. And she was like, yeah, she could say it. So I'm like, okay. That's why I was so freaking pissed off that they got on my wifey's back when they found out about us, because it's like, dude, she didn't start any of this shit. She had her own issue. She had her own situation, and now that I'm kind of like, okay, I didn't bother anybody. I didn't force anybody in a situation they don't want in. And now you give somebody their freedom. All of a sudden, it's like somebody like took it away or whatever, right? Somebody, and like, there's no bad guy here, all right? It's just people making adult choices, and the choices did not seem to coincide with what her choice and what my choice is. No bad guys here, all right? All's well that ends well. But I'm just so happy that I had somebody, and when I remember that we were talking about it, and I was so freaking firm about my stance, like, I'm never gonna give my friend a heads up. But maybe in a situation like that, I would probably reconsider. Like, if it's just like, bro, who's that guy? Are you guys okay? Maybe I could probably say something like that. But like that, like, it's hard, man. Right? I mean,
It is hard. It
text your
is hard. But
friend,
but
like,
in
okay,
your
hold on.
case, in your
Or
case, here's the thing.
internet.
In your case, you were not married yet, and it wasn't like I have deep relationship with both of
I
you
was not.
guys, right? So that
No,
would be
you're
different.
just a
That would
random guy
be
with random
totally
statement.
right. I know that was just like random. That was just
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just the universe just coming together, right? It wasn't intentional. It
but it
wasn't
paid off.
planned,
Paid off.
right?
It paid off. So that's a good problem to have. That's a good problem to have. Okay. In both ways, like, a good problem to have is having a friend who's too honest. A good problem to have is help catch this out. Should be you tell things. Should you be honest and speak what you see and what you, or should you, you know, you're in that predicament. But it's a good problem to have because either way, there's something beneficial about it. It's like it's okay. Let's go back to our topic, like the actual topic, because
Right.
I think our video feed's being interrupted. It says I'm not sure the internet screwed up, but for example, good problem to have. Jasper started it off, so if anybody out there just wants to join in, tell us. I'll give you an example. Hey, you okay? See, our video is being interrupted again. What is up with it? Okay.
I
Shout
have
out
no
to
idea if
Sir.
it's the person,
Shout out to
if it's
my friend
if the
Mama.
person that we're
Okay, we're
talking about
done.
is hacking this, or it could be Carla Abellana. I don't know, or it could be the guy that Carla Abellana is with. I have no idea who's
Same with
hacked
you.
this.
Is yours
Yeah,
being interrupted
yeah. It gets like it gets
or just mine?
cut off, and it's just like so
Okay.
choppy. It's the same. It's the same.
Yeah. Yeah, they have connections. They have connections. They have connections. All right, Joe Boy, what's up? Okay, we're talking about a good problems to have. Okay. We just Joe Boy, you just missed out on my relationship drama back then. Raj, you okay? Anyways, so good problem to have. Like you go to a buffet, right? That's a good problem to have. You go to a buffet. You can eat as much as you want. You can eat anything you want at a buffet. But there's a problem. The problem is what do you prioritize? Where do you go first? And because you can only eat so much, right? Marites tirada ni Human ang Marites. Ano si Mariotes? And it paid off. I'm glad he's a Mariotes because now you know. Friends will tell you, guys, that's one of the best things about a male friendship. We don't make shit up. We don't exaggerate shit up. If we tell you something, it's just for what it is. Hold up. Give shout outs.
Okay, Joe Boy, what's up? We're talking about like a good problem to have, and they were talking about like watches and shit. Like basically, if you have too much money, then your problem would be like picking which watch to have. Is it the Panerai, or would it be an Omega, or I mean those kind of stuff. But then I don't even think that it has something to do with brand. The fact that you're picking out like between two brands doesn't matter if it's an expensive brand or not. Fact that you're choosing between like getting one, that's already a good problem. What happened? Oh, Joe Boy, we're talking about like something else, sort of a relationship thing, and it's some kind of like there's a bit of history in it. It involves Rod's ex and what happened, and I was that guy who kind of gave him a heads up, and it wasn't intentional or planned. It was purely innocent. I was like um, telling a story about how I saw the ex girlfriend there with someone else, and because I didn't know that they were together, so it was more of like I kind of like like started the whole thing. And to Rod's kid, okay, to Rod's kid. All right, okay, not about the relationship. See, I'm a Mario test. I don't know what happened to his kids, dude. They're kids. Joe Boy, do you have kids? Because if you have kids, you would know, right? I mean, oh shit, yeah. I mean, no, I mean we've been talking about this for the last 20 minutes, so it doesn't really matter. Haha, 163. I know. I mean, kids. I don't know, Joe, but if you have kids, I'm pretty sure you would know that this happens a lot, right? So, do you have kids? I know Dexter doesn't have kids, but he has dogs. I have a kid. I only have one kid. Oh, you have two kids? Oh, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know what's going on with kids. Like, dude, yeah, anytime, anywhere, they just like go crazy. They don't pick a place. They don't pick a time. They just like like do shit. I hope no one got hurt. Hopefully. All right, let's check. What happened? Somebody got hurt? No. Oh, what happened? Did somebody get hurt? I hope not.
What?
Like no, because they were
What did?
asking like what happened to the kids. Um, somebody fell down or what? Like you gave them a
No, no, no,
beating.
no, 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 no. It's not. Somebody happened to the controller. Okay, that's basically it. He was
All right,
playing a
okay.
game. He was
All right,
freaking
okay, Joe
out.
Boy. There you go. There's the answer.
Yeah,
All
he was
right. So
playing.
somebody was freaking out,
I
involves
think
the
Joe Boy
game and the
knows this.
controller. So right, everything's
Okay,
good.
I
Everything's
think
good.
Joe Boy knows it. Here's what happened. If you play NBA 2K and you do My Career, you start the game with like the freaking crappiest player ever. So basically, you play the game so you can accumulate VC, which you can spend on stats. And then your player starts to become better because you'll add ball handling, you'll add attributes, and it happens during the course of gameplay. And he's obviously starting a My Career, so you start like during high school, and then you go to college, and you get drafted, you go to the NBA. But your player's performance, the guy you're controlling, because you're only controlling one character, which you create, only plays as well as his attributes. And well, you can
Right.
pay your way into it, like you can buy those points, and you can make your player a super player. But the hard way is to grind. So his player is like slow as f, can't password shit, can't shoot anything, and so he gets super frustrated, controlling a character that's like that. But that's part of the game, it's part of the progression. So he was like so frustrated, he was yelling, he was screaming, and I don't want him to victimize one of the controllers again. So I had to go out there and damage control, basically. That's its
All
damage
right. All
control.
right. Okay.
But
Cool.
basically that's it. It's like, and he doesn't get it. Like obviously the player's gonna be crappy because you're just starting out your career. Why do you expect him to be like dunk and shit and do all that stuff? It's not gonna happen. So, anyways, yeah, good problem to have. Okay, just going back to how what that situation was with my kid about the PlayStation. I mentioned earlier to Jaspersky, Joe Boy. I think you know PR too, right? Joe Boy. I'm not sure if you know PR. He's in the States now, but he's a PC guy, but I also, we're both gamers and stuff, and you know him. We're part of the gaming community, so he's more of a PC guy. But when the Xbox Series S and the PS5 were both announced, he went with the Xbox Series S. Like he didn't even think twice about it. He chose Xbox Series S because it's closer to the PC platform because it's made by Microsoft, which is a PC, basically PC company. And so I think he has a PS5 now too. So that's a good problem to have, choosing between an Xbox Series S and a PlayStation 5, because in a grand scheme of things, they both have similar games. They just, but they also have their exclusives. So, ano nangyari sa ex niya, Ice? Who's ex? Is he talking about mine? That we're still there, or it's Carla?
Well, eventually I think we're because I thought he was asking about what we were talking about before you
The
left. We
back.
were talking
That
about like
was
the
it.
ex, right?
That was
But
what we were
then she
talking
was
about.
well, he was actually asking about kids.
Yeah, I don't,
But
was Joe
yeah,
Boy
well,
tuned
going
in
back to the
before?
ex,
Hold on, was Joe Boy tuned in
no, I
before
think
when on a previous episode about the friendship between men and women? Was he tuned in then?
I'm not
Oh
sure.
yeah, yeah, he was. I think he was because he was like, he
Joe
was
Boy, were you
reacting. So I was,
around last time we were
he
talking about like
was.
men and women friendship?
Yeah, I was like bros before, like hoes before bros, and you were like bros before. You were like for the bros, and I was like, yeah, I think he was. Yeah, basically, Ice got me out of a situation that I might have been
Right.
in. So he saved my back. Or he led me to the right path unknowingly. Back then, he did, just because of the fact that he's Marites, Mariotes,
Mario Tess.
and I
Well,
don't know for some reason.
I say things as
Yeah.
it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
It's
you
just
do. Yes, you do.
I don't sugarcoat things. It's like
Yes,
when
yes,
I
you
saw
do.
something, I would say it the way I call it the way I see it. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes. And people,
So I think
a lot
that's
of
what I
people
saw.
condemn you for it. A lot of people condemn you. I've never condemned you for any of these things. Like we talk about shit all the time. When we get together, we talk about other people all the time. We talk about. I've never not once condemned you because I think maybe because of that experience. That was actually my first experience with you telling me something, and it worked out. And I don't know why, because you know me. I don't like. I'm always against people who like judgmental or saying things right away. But maybe it was the way you said it. Maybe it was the delivery. Maybe it's just how I knew you back then that I immediately kind of trusted you, and immediately my instincts kicked in, and I called up her friend. Because like I said, I normally don't do that. Like if somebody tells me Rod, blah, 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 yeah, you know me, like I'm not sure about that. Like I would always be neutral and
Because
be
I
like
didn't.
diplomat.
Here's the thing. Probably you were thinking that I wouldn't gain anything out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Like, why?
yes.
You
Why
know
would
what
you
I'm
do
saying?
that? Yeah,
Why would I do that? Why would I say something that's
he is a good
remotely
man,
going to ruin your life?
but people hate him for it.
Just I
Honesty
know,
is a
right?
bad
It's
thing
like, dude,
nowadays, Joe
I was
Boy.
there. I was hosting
Honesty
it.
is a bad thing now.
I saw her with that person. I mean, that's just
Trust
what I
me,
said. I didn't say
I
anything
wasn't
else.
I wasn't the first friend he warned. All right, but I was the one who listened.
Right? Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But I
Yeah,
mean,
so
yeah, that was an innocent conversation, man. There
it
was
was. It was.
there was no malice. We were just talking, and I didn't even know that you were gonna call up somebody.
You didn't.
Because you were
No.
just like acting like, all right,
Yeah,
like
normal.
you were just like being chill,
I
and
was in the
like at the
car when I
back of your
called.
head, you're like, "Fuck,
I was in the car
I'm gonna
on my
call
way
this
home.
bitches."
I remember I was in Victoria Plaza. Like that part of Victoria Plaza, I was in traffic.
He was,
I called her up. Like
he,
I never do
he
that.
was like so cool at the station. He was just like, all right, all right, all right. Then me at the back, be like, bitches, you're gonna have it tonight. You're gonna have it tonight, man.
No, because
I'm gonna call
para
you.
ako, dude, because para ako na pendejo. Because like I said, I normally don't jump to conclusions, but I believe ice. And para ako na pendejo because it's like, holy shit, I've been back for a while. Nobody ever mentioned anything to me. She could have at least brought up something, or somebody or one of her friends could have at least asked me, Rod, there's this situation. I didn't know. Like I was like, so I was like, all the while I thought everything was great. And then something like that
No, I
happens.
think
And
that. Okay, here's the thing. Maybe that's one of those moments when you make a mistake, like oops, like this oops moment. It's probably one of those oops moment that I had. That was like an oops moment because I was just
I
like
imagine
assuming that you weren't together at that time.
it wasn't
That
an
was an
oops
oops
moment.
moment. I thought that you were
You
like, all right, maybe you were not together at that time. But then when we started talking, and then I realized that holy shit, what did I do? I
no,
was
no,
like,
no. You have a good radar, dude. You know what? Because
the timeline
like
was like the timeline. Like,
be-
oh my
be-
god, I screwed up the timeline.
because
Holy shit.
if you see a friend's girlfriend with another guy, you can sense if something's up. You can sense if he's harmless. You can sense if he's a gay friend. You can sense if he's like just this guy. We can sense it. We're not stupid. But when you said actor, that kind of like, hold on. Like I know actor, that term actor, man, that's like that. That there's forma involved here. There's like it's like
That's true. Because
aligid,
if
right? It's
that
like
happened to me, if that
you
happened to me, I would
sensed
never
it.
get mad at the guy.
You
I would
sensed
never
it.
get mad at the guy. Because you know why?
Yes.
Because it's always like you can shut the guy down anytime.
Yes. Yes, she tolerated it.
Why
Yes, exactly.
has that guy, like reached a point where
That
he got
stage.
invited to the wedding? You could have said like,
Yes.
no, you can't come to the wedding. This is like
Yes. And
this is
be
very
sort of
personal.
like her escort, right? And
Exactly,
and, and
right?
to the point
He
where
acted like he was sort of an escort
like
that night.
you could tell that she was the reason why he was there. Like I said, you're not stupid, like he wasn't talking to other girls. He wasn't, you knew why he was there. And for that situation, for her to allow that situation to happen, knowing that I was out of the country, like, I mean, it's not like I was gang banging, Thai women there when I was in Thailand. I mean, I wish I was, but I wasn't, and
Weren't you? Weren't you?
just
Weren't
watching
you?
Hubo Hubo and shit. No, but I mean, it's like it's different though. Like mine had no emotional connection. If I did any of those things, hers did. I mean, like if you allow that, if you allow that shit to happen, you're giving hope to the guy. It's like
I
it's
remember
like
one. I remember one
right.
situation. Uh, this is a story, and the woman is crying, like, oh, I feel so bad. Like, why? The guy just, like the stolen kiss story, right? Um, he just kissed me out of nowhere. I'm like, what? You were walking on the street and he kissed you out of nowhere? Was that the situation? Were you like in the taxi? He opened up the door and kissed you out of nowhere?
Yeah,
No, we were in the living room together and we were talking and he kissed me all of a sudden. Like, what the fuck? What's he
yeah,
doing in the living
yeah,
room?
yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my question.
Exactly. Why did it even get
I
to
mean,
that
if you
point?
tell me that you were walking along the sidewalk and somebody just kissed you out of nowhere, all right, I would get that. I
Yeah,
would understand that. I'm like, all right,
yeah.
it's not your fault.
And And there are people who behave differently, dude. Like there are people who have different traits. Like for example, like my wife, she has a lot of guy friends. Like I'm totally comfortable with her, even like in a car with a guy friend. She's just how she is. She was your friend before she became my girlfriend. So I'm like I'm
Right.
comfortable with her. Like I would say like the term trust her or whatever, but I just know that I wouldn't be shocked if somebody saw her like hanging out with a guy or whatever. It's like I'm not immediately gonna like be suspicious about that or whatever. But like that ex of mine, she's not necessarily the kind of girl who'd hang out with guys,
No, she's not.
No, she's not. She won't even.
She is
You know
self-proclaimed conservative. Like
exactly.
she's
So
always like she men are the enemy. That's her line.
yeah,
Like when me
yeah.
and my girlfriend broke up and she didn't even know the whole story, she
You were
just like
condemned.
came up to me and said like, "Oh, it's because of you, because you were chicks or whatever." I'm like, "You don't even
Yeah,
know the
the
story."
store. Yes,
Like,
yes. That's right.
but she was like pinning things on me, like she's like, "Oh, it's your fault." I'm like, "No,
Come
what
on,
do you
good.
know?"
Uh,
Yeah, come on,
yeah,
good. I'm like, "What?
yeah.
I didn't do shit."
It's like you were hurt, and yet somebody tells you that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, hold
Exactly,
on.
right?
It's like, hold on. I was hurt too. Like, hey, what's up? Like, at least ask me first if I'm okay or something. And yes, so
Now, if
that's
you
why
think about it,
when
maybe I
some
could have like planned it because I didn't remember I could have planned.
No,
It
hold
could
on,
be
hold on.
because of that
No, hold on.
conversation,
No, no,
and
no,
I
no. Hold
started
on, hold on, hold
plotting
on.
things.
Like, hold on, because I'm trying to do the timeline thing here because this happened 2003. I was in Thailand. I was in Bangkok.
Right.
It's happened 2003.
Yes.
I didn't start working for Kilo B until 2004, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Exactly.
So
Around
that's when
maybe
I
summer,
came back
April.
from Bangkok. And you were already
Yes.
with Kilo B,
March,
but we
April.
weren't like, we were just like your board time would be I'd be next or you'd be next after my board time. So that's
Right.
our
Right.
little
Right.
short conversation
Right.
thing. But we weren't like
Yes.
hanging around at
No.
Brugger's
No. No.
yet
No.
or Formula Pete's during
Not
that
yet.
time. Not yet. So I remember. But so I'm trying to recall when was the time that you bumped into us at was it SM? Was it at a mall, right?
Yeah. This was
Okay.
I don't
Did
know.
you tell me
This
about it
could.
already? Not yet. Were
I
you?
don't
Were
think
you
so.
So okay, so I think you told me already. What? When were you? I'm trying to recall when you told me. Like, was
No, because
this
I think we
like
were having a conversation. Because here's the thing, you were together, and but I didn't put much thought into like your relationship or the timeline of your
when we were
relationship.
together? Yeah, when we were together.
Yeah,
Were we
exactly.
together
So
already then? Yeah. I think
yeah,
maybe
so I think
you found
that
out I was
that thing
being with her for
happened
a long time
already.
already. Yeah,
All right, yeah. So
yeah,
that thing happened at SM. We were not that close yet, but then at some
yes,
point we had to do we had to do things together. No,
yes.
the first bonding that we had together with her was remember that time we went to this what was that? Was it a car show? It was somewhere. It's like a village or something, and it was kind of far. You invited me to to go with you guys. I said yes, and we went there. There were like nice cars there. There was an event.
Okay,
I don't know if that
trying to
was a Killer
recall
Bee
now.
event. That could have been a Killer Bee event. That's why I
Well, I
was
was with
there.
her.
It could be that we were assigned. You were with her, and I was with you guys. It could be that we were assigned to go there because we were the
Oh man, I
newbies
don't.
back then.
Yeah,
So it
I
could
don't
be we were
recall
assigned
bringing.
there to do like a phone patch. It could be that we had a job. It could be that
Okay,
it was the phone patch job. So we have to go there somewhere. It was a village. It was like a new subdivision or something. Was it Croc Park? I'm not sure if it's like Crocodile Park or I
it
mean,
was it
I think
PLDT?
so.
Was it?
No, no, no. It
Was it
wasn't PLDT. I think it was at Crocodile Park, and there was like a sort of like a car show or something.
like a
Right?
drag
There were like
race or
nice cars
something?
there. Was
Okay.
I cannot remember. I cannot remember.
Dude, I
I
can't
was
even
there. You were
remember
there.
that event at all.
She
But anyways,
she was
yeah, I was with her.
there, and her sisters were there. And I think the reason why I was there is because we need to do a phone patch. So that could be
Okay.
it. We were that close at that time, but we were there, and I think we did the phone patch. I grabbed a like I hitched a ride with you, and on the way and coming back. But I think the SM thing happened before that. But then we had a bonding of some sort, like during that time. But then I think that conversation about like about the guy and during the wedding, it came later when you were having problems, and it was like an innocent conversation about like, well, I was like, oh, come to think of it, I think I saw her one time, and maybe this was way beyond, or no,
And
no,
I
this
didn't
was
know
way
about
before we
that.
were
Yeah.
together.
That's what
Yeah, I was
caught me
like,
off guard. I was
she
like,
was with this guy, and you were like, what? And I was like, holy shit, I shouldn't have said that. That was that was my initial
But
reaction
I was
too when you
cool.
had
But
that
I was
reaction. It was
cool,
like,
right? But I
y-
was like,
yeah,
fine.
but then I could see that you were taken aback. You were
Okay, yeah,
cool, but
yeah.
you were really. So
You
I was like,
yeah.
holy shit. And you were acting cool. So I was like, all right, maybe it's fine, right? I didn't.
Yeah.
Little did I know
Oh no,
that
wait,
when you
no.
got in the car, holy, what the fuck is going on? I'm gonna call these bitches.
I
Makakatikim
did.
ka sa
And that's
akin.
what I did. That's what I did. I'm like, yeah, okay, no, dude, I'm not. I'm Rod Rodriguez, not Tom Rodriguez. What are you talking about?
All
Makakatikim ka sa-
right.
But anyways, yeah, that's what happened, man. So it just goes to show you, dude, that some people still do trust you, and some people can see through the good in you, And I don't know why some people will just look at the bad in people, but at that time, it's like
do,
not once did I ever
do
think, not once did I
not,
ever think that this guy is like trying to mess me up, or no, like my relationship. No, not once
or
did I
do
think that.
not underestimate the deviousness of Iceman, because it was a long time coming. All right,
Yeah, yeah. Revenge,
I'm gonna take
revenge.
it
Yeah,
personal.
that was probably it.
Revenge.
Because
All right, cool.
I think if she had been nice to you, I think you would have skipped that information. You might have thought about it like, di na lang, I'm not gonna mention that na. Okay naman sila.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Kaya lang, it's like, you did something to me. Shit, I'm
All
gonna get
right,
you back.
okay.
You know? Not
All right,
today, but I'll
I
get
took
you
it
back.
personal.
That was
I took
that
it
was a drive-by
personal.
shooting right there. Pow, 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 pow. That was straight out of Boys in the Hood. Pow, 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 pow.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that was payback. That was
But no, to be
payback.
honest, I wasn't, like I wasn't even aware. So when you had that reaction, I was like taken aback. I was like, what the fuck did I say? It was a
No,
sort of that
man.
reaction because I
I
didn't
never,
know that
I,
you were
I
together
never,
at that time.
I never thought about. Yeah, but it's like I was just confused as heck, dude. And that kind of like that was like ding, 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 ding. That was the light that shone upon me. That's like, dude,
So see,
there's
okay,
a
here's the thing.
situation.
Like, okay, we're kind of deviating from our topic, but
Yeah, let's talk about
okay, one thing
yeah.
happened. All right, guys, listen. Okay, because I don't know what kind of friendship you have with your boys. All right, but here's what happened one time. This goes back to my freshman year in Ateneo. Right, so we were all trying to get a girlfriend because we were like in first year. Right, new school, new life, new faces. We wanted to get girlfriends, and we were like racing to who gets a girlfriend first. Right, so this is what happened in the beginning. We were all doing our thing. We were just like hunting. We were like praying. We were like trying to prey on people. I mean, for the lack
Yeah.
of a better term. And I think um my good friend, one of my good friends, um was trying to hit it with this chick, right? I didn't know what her or I didn't know what her deal was. I didn't know what my friends intention were at that time, but they were talking and we would just like be sharing stories and shit, right? But
Yeah.
then this friend would like I mean, he liked a lot of girls at that time, you know. Let's say for example like at the start of the school year, right? So he was like trying to hit it with everybody, not just one chick, okay? So I had a conversation with somebody who knows that girl that he eventually ended up with, who eventually became his girlfriend, right? But then the conversation would go back to the early months of like the freshman year, right? So the conversation goes like, "Oh, is he serious with this girl?" And I was like, "Well, I don't really know because he's like he's trying to hit it with everybody." That's just what I said, all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Without
Yeah.
any malice or whatever, because at that time they were not together. How would
Yes.
I know if he was serious? And he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like trying to make porma to other women as well. So I was like, that's what I said. And I didn't know that that guy that I talked to would be
Yeah.
close to that person eventually, to the girl,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like a passing conversation. And it was nothing like, yeah, I mean, no, I don't know. But all I know is that he's also hitting it with some other chick. So
Yeah.
I don't know that. So that this was like way before. This was like the start of the freshman year.
Yeah.
Then 8 months after that, right? So eventually they became boyfriend and girlfriend, right? Then all of a sudden they had a big fight. And dude, they broke up because of that conversation.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
this dude told the chick that I told him that he was hitting it with everybody else
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
with every other chick
Yeah.
and that he
Yeah.
wasn't really serious, that I didn't know that he was serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was, and I was like, what? And the news came to me from a common friend, and they said like, oh, it's because of you. Like, what? What? I mean, what has this? to do with me. Like I don't even, like I don't even know. I mean, I
You
know the
cause
guy.
people to
I
break
don't know
up,
the
dude. What's
chick.
wrong with you?
So I was like, what's happening? Then this guy's name came into the picture, like, oh, because this guy said that you said this to him. I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
what? Yeah, I said that like what? When? June? What? July? That was like 8 months ago. What are you talking about? That was like
yeah, yeah.
almost last year.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
that was a different situation. They were
Different
not
situation.
together at
Yeah,
that time,
that's
and I
right.
didn't
That's
know
right.
what
That
was
doesn't
going
count.
on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't apply to
You
what's
didn't. You
going
didn't
on
know
now. I
they'd be
said that in
together.
a
You
different
know.
context,
Yeah.
right? Maritos, I know, but then it's a good thing that my friend, you know what, I owe King this much because, or flip mode, because I was like, oh my god, we're gonna have a fist fight. Like I'm gonna get a punch, and I'm probably gonna throw a punch. I don't know. I mean, we haven't fought ever, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
like he's my friend. We haven't had any. Well, we would have like, like I don't
Tuksuhan.
know, like debates and
Whatever.
shit. But I
Yeah.
mean the normal stuff. But we
Yeah.
never tried to hit each other. So it's like holy shit. I mean, this is like a girlfriend thing, so it can get to that. So I was like, holy crap, what's gonna happen? And I was like so pissed with the guy. I was like, why did he say that? So for sure,
Yeah.
that guy had intentions. That guy had
Yeah.
malice because he knows for a fact
Yeah.
that our conversation was like almost last year. It
Yeah.
was like 8 months, 9 months ago. So when I first saw him at Alimar's, his reaction was just like he just he just like scratches and like like dude. I was like, dude, hang on, hang on.
Yeah.
This was 8 months ago. What are you talking about? This was 8 months ago. He
Yeah.
asked me, and I didn't know what to say. And you were
Yeah.
not there
Yeah.
at that time. And I just said
Yeah.
what we were all up to at that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was no malice. It was like, all right, all right. But then he said, I know, I know. That's why I'm so pissed with this guy. So he wasn't pissed with me. He was pissed with
Yeah.
the guy. So it
Yes.
was just like, oh, I'm so happy that my friend was very considerate not to blame me, but then he blamed that other guy. So he went to find that guy and he actually punched him.
Oh,
He
jeez.
was so pissed. He punched the guy. He
It's
was he
actually
couldn't, he couldn't
it
stop it.
just go it just goes to show you how important character is in a person. And if you that's why they have this thing called character reference. So if you know the character of a person well, no matter what that person says, no matter what other people say about them, no matter what, it's you know you can't shake that or take that away from them. You immediately will lean towards, especially if they have a good character or you have a good impression of that person. And so it's very, very important that you kind of, if you're going to build a reputation with a friend, you know, your friend better understand that reputation of yours. Like, because I think that's one of the keys of choosing who to remain friends with. You remain friends with the people who see that side of you, so that in times of doubt, they will not immediately jump ship. And I think that's
Right,
very
right.
important. It's very important
It didn't
because,
affect
like,
our relationship,
it should not.
but it affected my relationship with his girlfriend. I never got close to his girlfriend. I never talked to his girlfriend. Like it never got repaired. So when they broke up, there was no love lost there. I was just like, all right,
Yeah,
it's fine.
yeah, yeah.
And
It's
up
like,
to now, I still have that like I still have that. Well, I mean, my friend's a nice guy, right? He wouldn't say shit about the ex girlfriend or something. Like he wouldn't say anything bad about her. But
yeah,
then like I have something to say, definitely. But yeah, it could be because of what happened. But I don't really totally condemn her, but I have an opinion. That's just it. I have
yes,
an opinion because
yes,
my wife's best friend is like friends with her, and we kind of like have that talk. But I
yeah,
certainly voiced out my opinion. I'm like, I have an opinion. You can say what you want about my friend, but okay, I will say this. But
yes,
then I think it's all good now. I think it's fine.
yeah, yeah. I think hey, man, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's it's important. That's I think a lot of people in my life, I have a lot of friends who I thought were really good friends, and were lifelong friends, and then something happens, and then they start, like, you have friends who will judge you. They'll say, "Oh, nagkapera lang yan, ganyan na yan. Oh, ganyan, ganyan, ganyan." I'm like, I'm not about the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had money and I haven't changed. Like, I was raised by a family. We had the biggest house in the neighborhood. I was the richest kid in class. Whatever the heck it is you want to accuse me of, I have never flaunted that. I have never been a friend, and I've been a friend about that. It's like, it's not. I'm not. I don't compete with anybody. I don't give a shit who anybody has. If I have nothing, I have nothing. If I have a lot, I have a lot. That's it. It has nothing to do with friendship. But I've had friends who, like, wouldn't invite me over anymore. I have friends who I'd find out they do shit together, and like all of
Really?
a sudden I'm yeah. It's like I and I'm not stupid, man. Like I know they'll talk about me. I know because I live in a different neighborhood now and all that shit. But you know what? At the end of the day, I don't care. I'm still their friend. You know, like I've tried to understand it from their perspective, but I know who's amongst that crowd and that group who's still on my side. I know who it is. There's still somebody there who, if I hang out with him, he will tell me what's up. And I don't, and the thing with me is like, I don't care. I'm still friends with them. It's like maybe they see it from that perspective because I'm isolated. Like, they're all still in the same situation. And maybe when I moved on and I had a wife and I had a family and, they think I don't live in it, whatever. They think I'm like that. I mean, I'm fine, man. I get it. But it's just like, I just base it on how I treat my friends. I have friends who, dude, Joe, used to see every day. Joe used to hang out every day with. Joe, we used to, we were inseparable. He's like, he would hang out here in the house. We would play video games. He would play PlayStation 2 or 3. I would play PlayStation 3 after work together, play basketball, then go back to attend a meeting at the station. Joe has a lot of friends, but he's not always hanging around with the same people all the time. You know him, and we were always hanging out together. He became Rajas Ninong, as you have become Rajas Ninong, and it's like, but I haven't seen Joe in a long time. I mean, I haven't like hung out with him or
When
shared
was
a
the
beer
last
with
time
him
you
in
saw
like a
him?
couple of years. I don't a long time. Like Mao, I haven't seen in a long time. Billy Kane, I'll have coffee with once in a while. But you know what?
Right. Yeah, I saw
I
your
don't.
picture.
I don't think Joe's saying shit about me. I mean, he's probably
I
working
don't
with
think so.
people who might not even like me. And I have never like at the end of the day, when I text him, bye, I know he's gonna be like, yes, give bakante ko. Like, we're fine. And those are the kind of people you want to keep as friends. Those are the kind of people you want to keep as friends because if you if you start hating on your friend because he got married and he doesn't have time for you, if you're hating on your friend because he got money and you didn't, if you hating on your friend because he's you and you're accusing him of so many things, you did not know that person well. I mean, at least from my perspective, you didn't know me well. All those years we were together, magkainuman lang tayo. Di mo ako kilala. You don't know me. I have friends who I've known lesser time than I've known you, who know me better than you know me. These are the people who will never think of me that way, because that's just not that kind of person I am. You know, I I greet a person the same way. Janitor ka, presidente ka. My dad taught me that. My mom taught me that. My mom's like masa as hell. And she grew up privileged. I remember going to a bank, and the manager of the bank was my mom's classmate in City High. And you know what that bank manager, tita of mine, would tell me? Yun yung mama mo. Yan pinakasikat sa school. Siya pinakaunang may kotse. Imagine she was still in City High. She was driving her own vehicle already. She already had a car. And that was unprecedented at the time. And she would all her friends would ride with her, and she was like probably didn't have a license yet. And then the tita would like tell me, but my mom, knowing my mom's like so masa, man. My mom's like, she's never like, I've never seen her like be an elitista or whatever. She's worked with people and NGOs and all that shit. She's always been that kind of person. And that's why those who know her knows, and if you know a person really well, you know that situations cannot change a person. Maybe it will change the time they have for you. Maybe it will change their environment. Maybe it will change the clothes they wear, or the movies they watch, or some of the friends they have, but it will not change the person if you know them. And the same case with us. You've been in Japan for how many years? When have we hung out? But when we talk and we get together online, same shit. Like we're still laughing about Butch Francisco, for crying out loud. Nothing's changed, dude. But there are people who we're friends with who medyo awkward na. You have to admit that. You have to admit that. There might be people because they're awkward to you, I'm awkward to them na rin. Like, okay, I get it. I don't have to go where I'm not invited. Yeah, I don't have to go. Just at least don't make me out to be like the guy who's already an outsider, because we were never friends. That's why I don't
You think so? I
trust
think as you
friendship.
grow older, I think people. It's not people, but situations change, right?
Yeah, man.
And
Of
for some
course, we all
reason,
grow.
all these situations has something to do with our current behavior, and could be the reasons that we're not hanging out with each other anymore. Because it's the
Yes.
same with my dad. Like I've had talks with him, and he would talk about certain people, and he would say, oh, I'm so good friends with that person. We hung out together a lot. We would travel together. Their home was like my home. I'd be there almost every day. But then it didn't seem like that, when we had that conversation. Because when they
Yeah.
see each other, they just like, whatever. But then the guy also said the same thing. Like, oh, I'm good friends with your dad, blah, blah, blah. But they don't hang out that much anymore. We don't get invited to their house
Yeah.
and hang out there or do barbecues or whatever, right? But at
Yeah.
some point in their lives, they were very close. And you just have to accept the fact that that happens. There are
It
times that
happened.
you're like, like it's a phase.
What did Ice Pop say? Right? Nothing. Everything changes. What is it?
Nothing's
What was it?
permanent but change.
Nothing's
Nothing's permanent
permanent
but
but
change.
change. But like I said, the friendship you have with people that should remain. That should be forever, man. That shouldn't change. But I guess that's a good
True.
problem to have.
True.
Too many friends. Having too
Too many
many
friends.
friends.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
That's a good
That's
problem to
true.
have.
It doesn't
It's
mean
they
that you
don't.
don't see them. They become less of a friend, right? I mean, but if they
No,
feel that way, then it's not your fault. I mean, it's just a situation of
because
things.
people have to understand friendship. You don't label it as friendship until you've gone through something together, right? So that's
No,
already established. You don't have to rely on what happens in the future for your friendship to exist. Friends na tayo, may pinagdaanan na tayo, friends na tayo. We can always go back to those memories, bring it back up, talk about it, and make, maybe new memories later on in our lives. But it doesn't delete the friendship. It's not like a love relationship where you constantly have to nurture it or else you fall out of love. Friendship is may pinagsamahan na kayo. Kung wala mo kayong pinagsamahan because of the pandemic, kung wala mo kayong pinagsamahan because nag-asawa na yung isa o lumipat na ng bahay o nag-migrate sa Canada, it doesn't mean you're no longer friends. Right? It doesn't mean whatever you went through is deleted already. That will forever remain, and that's the kind of friend I am. It's like I don't care if basurero ka pa rin, presidente na ako. That did not change the fact that we were friends at one time and we're still friends. That the fact that you're presidente and I'm basurero, that doesn't change anything. It's a title. It's just a financial status. The person within is the same. And I think that's what some people that's the problem with people here for me, I think here in the Philippines is that we put too much emphasis on social classes and financial situations of people that we just for some reason create a separation that shouldn't be there. Because there's such a big gap between the two that if you have a friend who you're in the same class with, all of a sudden reaches a certain class, parang immediately you assume, maybe they become a jerk. Some do, nagkapera, yumayabang. Okay, fine, they deserve to be alienated from the friendship. But if you're just assuming because lumipat siya na insular village and you're still in barangay Kwaknit, whatever, you wouldn't know. Maybe he's miserable there. Maybe he misses you guys.
true,
But he has to live
true.
in a better place for his family. I mean, alangan naman pilitin niya, di ba? I mean, it's just all about priorities for me. I mean, I didn't grow up thinking, oh, when I grow up, my ambition is to have friends to drink Red Horse with. No, that wasn't my dream. My dream was when I grow up, I want to have a family of my own. And now that I have it, my friends will hate me for it. I mean, maybe your dream was to have friends to have Red Horse with. That's your thing. That's not my dream. That doesn't make us not friends anymore. Go ahead, drink your Red Horse, sing your video key. I couldn't care less. I'm still your friend, even if I don't do that shit. I mean, no, don't sing video key, but I do drink Red Horse. But it doesn't mean I play video games and I hang out with different people. It doesn't mean I've forgotten you as a friend. You're still my friend. There will still be a time I will want to drink Red Horse. There will still be a time I will want to hang out with you guys. But it's like, okay, I'm fine with it. I mean, I never change. If I get invited, I'll show up. If I can't show up, I'll explain. And it's just I don't know. It's just like I said. That's the thing here in the Philippines. People are so sensitive. In Japan, people don't even want to be invited.
I know, right? That's a thing. Nobody wants to be invited.
Nobody even wants to be invited. An invitation is like, ugh. But here it's like, you can't make it. You're like a bad friend already. Like, dude, Carlo, man, I haven't seen Carlo in how many years? I mean, he's in and out of the country when he can. I just saw him once, and he's going to be leaving in June 30. I don't know if I'm going to see him again. Well, because he's busy with his mom. He's with his family right now, and I know they have issues to deal with. So I don't want to be like, I don't want to be selfish and say, dude, we got to see each other every day because you're going to go back to Australia. I mean, no. Even when you're here, I'm not pressuring you to be. I know you have errands to run. I know you have things to do. That's fine. If you can make time for a friend, go. That's great. And I'm glad that you don't think that about me as well. Like, I mean, because I have friends who like if they go to a country and they have a friend there, tapos hindi sila nagka-meet up, parang ang sama ng loob. I'm like, do you know how busy people are in first world countries? Do you know how their schedules work? Especially if they have, you might be in the same state, but it's a
That's
freaking
true.
8 hour drive. You know, they might be both in California, but you might be in LA. He might be in San Francisco. That's like what? That's like 6 hours drive. I mean, he's gonna have to take a leave. He's gonna have to. Easy for you to say you're on vacation, but he's at work. And magtatampo yan, that the friendship will end because of that situation. Hindi na mag-uusap, parang ano na. I mean, I'm like, no, man, that's not how friendships work. Friendships understand each other. Friendships forgive. Friendships create excuses for their friends. You don't find faults in your friends. You make the excuses for them. Ay, di nakapunta bro kasi ganito. 'Di ba? Brad, di siya naka-attend, may pamilya yun eh. May bata, baka ayaw na uminom. But you don't condemn them for that. That's I think what friendship is. But that's the topic from last week. So our last episode. So anyways, good problem to have is we have to end the show. We have so much to
That's a good
say,
problem.
but we don't have time.
All right, we'll continue this on Saturday. I mean, yeah, like we're all busy. Your kids have to go to school the next day. I have to go to work. I have a kid
Dude,
who
I
goes
just
to school
enrolled
as
my
well.
kid.
All right, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Raj doing
Saturday.
face now. Saturday, yeah. I'm gonna try
Right?
to
I think everybody's doing face to face. All right, good luck with that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Raj
we've been
no,
doing face to face here. It will be fine. It will be okay.
no, it's only
Like the
two
kids here
times.
were okay.
It's only 2 times in a week.
See, it's even two
face-to-face.
times a week.
It's not every day.
We've
It's not every
been
day,
doing
yeah.
it since like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
It's
and I
been like
want
an
him,
everyday thing.
and I want Raj to socialize with people. Now, I mean, I feel bad for him. He's like stuck here. He's going crazy. I mean, can you imagine a
Right.
10-year-old being stuck at home? I mean, it's crazy, right? It's
Yeah.
gonna drive you nuts. So I feel bad for
Stuck
the
at
kid.
home, he can't even masturbate. That's crazy. His
Let's have your
dad's
dad.
always
His
on
dad keep.
it.
What are you doing?
Hey, if he could, that would be a different story.
Are you googling Beyonce again? Anyways,
All right. Okay. Saturday. What's up for
Okay.
Saturday? Like, do you have a list or?
Yeah, it has to be something that could stir up like the opposite sex as well.
Yeah, because
I mean,
maybe Carol will join us, or like there might be a change of time.
yeah. Carol said we just has a problem. She's okay with weekend, but 7 hours behind. So,
All right. Okay.
I think that's fine with her. It's just daytime. It's nighttime for us.
All right.
So
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
okay. She'll be awake, right? So,
Yeah, all right. Cool.
yeah, and the potential topics. Well, I'll PM it to you. All right, and hopefully we can
All
plug
right.
it
Okay. Just
before
PM it
by
to me.
tomorrow.
I'll post it tomorrow. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks a lot for joining us. This has been another edition of Thursday, the OK Show. Iceman and Rodriguez, and we gotta go. We gotta get some sleep and live our normal lives tomorrow. We are out. Good
Bye,
night.
guys. Bye bye.